In 2008, the global financial system did not collapse with an explosion. It collapsed in a much worse way. Everything still looked normal until people realized the foundation was hollow. Imagine you are an average American family. Both parents go to work every day. You pay the mortgage every month. You believe that if you work hard, everything will be fine. Then one morning, you get a letter. Your house is being foreclosed, not because you were lazy, not because you were reckless, but because the bank gambled with your money and lost. At the same time, television shows a completely different scene. Lehman Brothers has collapsed. The Federal Reserve emergency line is overloaded. Do not panic. Is my bonus still guaranteed? Millions of people are losing their homes. Yeah, but my watch is still shining. Then breaking news appears on every channel. $700 billion will be used to rescue the financial system, not to rescue ordinary people, not to rescue families who just lost everything, but to rescue the banks, the very ones that caused the disaster. If you wreck your car, you pay for it. If you mess up at work, you lose your job. But if banks wreck the entire economy, society pays the bill. In that moment, millions of people realized something chilling. The rules are not the same for everyone. Trust in banks evaporated. Trust in government followed. And when trust disappears, the only thing left is anger. The world entered a state of frustration. People who did everything right still lost. Those who took the biggest risks were saved. And the shared feeling was this: this system no longer works for us. And then, in that environment, someone or maybe a group of people appeared out of nowhere. No press conference, no company, no permission from anyone. Just a name left on the internet: Satoshi Nakamoto. On October 31st, 2008, Satoshi published a short paper. No slogans, no promises of getting rich. Just one question that sounded simple, but was powerful enough to shake the entire global financial system. What if money could exist without banks? Think about it in the simplest way. Today, when you send money to someone, your money does not go directly from you to them. It goes through a bank. The bank keeps the ledger. The bank verifies the transaction, and the entire system runs on one assumption: you trust them not to cheat. But 2008 proved one thing: that trust is not always deserved. Bitcoin proposed a completely different approach. No need to trust banks. No need to trust governments. No need to trust any individual. Every transaction is written into a shared ledger. That ledger does not sit in a vault owned by one organization. It is copied across thousands of computers around the world. If someone tries to cheat, the other copies immediately reject it. You do not have to ask, "Are you honest?" Because the system is designed so that human goodwill is not required. On January 3rd, 2009, Bitcoin officially launched. The very first block, the Genesis block, was created. Inside, it was not just technical data. It carried a message tied directly to that moment in history. Another bank bailout headline. That was not random text. It was a reminder: this is why Bitcoin exists. Bitcoin was not born from greed. It was born from collective exhaustion. Exhaustion from working a lifetime while inflation eats away at savings. Exhaustion from playing by the rules and still losing. Exhaustion from watching those who caused the damage never face consequences. At first, Bitcoin looked like a joke. A nerd experiment on online forums. No value. No one thought it would become real money, until someone asked a very practical question: can this buy anything? And someone answered, "I will pay 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas." It sounded ridiculous. But that moment mattered, because for the first time, Bitcoin stopped being theory. It became something you could exchange. those two pizzas would later be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Not because the pizza was special, but because they marked the moment people agreed on one thing. Trust in the old system was cracking, and something new had just been born. From that point on, the question was no longer, what is Bitcoin? It became, if money does not need banks, how much power do banks really have? Imagine you and a group of friends pool money to buy a house. To avoid arguments, you used one shared notebook to record who contributed what and who withdrew how much. The problem is, one person holds the notebook, and everyone else has to trust that person not to change the numbers behind their backs. That is exactly how the old financial system works. Banks hold the ledger. Banks write the records. Banks confirm what is true. And you have one option. Trust them. Bitcoin says, no. Instead of one ledger, imagine tens of thousands of identical ledgers copied across computers all over the world. Every time a transaction happens, all of them update together. You want to cheat? Fine. You have to change all of them at the same time. Good luck. That is blockchain. Not magic. Just mathematics applied in an extremely stubborn way. Transactions are grouped into blocks. Each block is locked with cryptography, then linked to the previous one. That creates a chain. And if you try to change an old transaction, every block after it immediately sounds the alarm. Wait, this transaction was 5 Bitcoin yesterday. How did it become 50 today? Invalid. Rejected? Nice try. So the next question is, who updates this ledger? The answer? Miners. Do not let the name fool you. They are not mining gold. They are mining math problems. Imagine the entire world competing in a massive, brutally hard puzzle contest. Whoever solves it first earns the right to write the next page in the global ledger. The reward is brand new Bitcoin. Add another zero. Almost there. Boom. Solved. The winner adds the block. Everyone else loses. But they still accept the result, because anyone can verify it. This is called proof of work. To write to the ledger, you must prove you actually did the work. There are no shortcuts. Why make it so complicated? Because the cost is the protection. To attack Bitcoin, you would need to control most of the world's computing power. That is not just difficult, it's absurdly expensive. And the more money you spend attacking it, the higher Bitcoin's price tends to go, making the attack even more pointless. A very unpleasant loop for attackers. And unlike government money, Bitcoin has no supply surprises. No closed-door meetings. No press conferences. No, we had to print more. The issuance schedule was written into the code from day one. Every block, the reward decreases. Every 4 years, it gets cut in half. This is called the halving. Imagine a pizza shop. At first, it gives away 50 free slices per day. Then 25. Then 12.5. While more and more people line up. Early arrivals eat well. Late arrivals compete. In 2009, 50 Bitcoin per block. 2012, 25. 2016, 12.5. 2020, 6.25. And so on until around the year 2140, when no new Bitcoin will ever be created. No exceptions. No rule changes. No whoops. This creates something rare in modern money: certainty. You do not need to guess future supply. You do not need to watch central bank press conferences. The rules are fixed. And that is when Bitcoin's logic starts flipping the old system upside down. In the old system, money loses value over time, so you are encouraged to spend it as fast as possible. In the Bitcoin system, money becomes scarcer over time, so people start thinking about holding it. Maybe next year, it might be worth more. Bitcoin does not reward urgency. It rewards patience. And most importantly, all of this works without a leader. No chief executive officer, no headquarters, no off switch. You do not trust people. You trust the rules. That is why Bitcoin does not need banks to function. And that is why the old system started to get nervous. For most of modern history, money has been designed to lose value over time, not by accident, by intention. If your money loses value every year, what do? You spend it. You take bigger risks. You try to outrun the money printer. That is how the current system works. Spend it now, because it will be worth less next year. Do not hold cash. 2% inflation is good for the economy. It sounds reasonable, till it is no longer 2%. Think about something simple. This year, a burger costs $5. Next year, $6, then $8, then $12. Not because the burger is better, but because your money is weaker. When governments run into trouble, they have a very convenient button. Print more money, not to make you rich, but to delay the pain. We need to save the economy. How much? Just print more. We will deal with it later. The result. Between 2020 and 2022, the United States created roughly 40% of all dollars that had ever existed. No matter what you call it, stimulus, relief, or flexible monetary policy, the outcome is the same. People lose purchasing power. Bitcoin was created to do the opposite. No printer. No emergency meetings. No temporary fixes. Just one hard number, 21 million. Not approximately, not adjustable. 21 million. That is it. That changes how people think about money. In the fiat world, people ask, how do I spend this before it loses value? In the Bitcoin world, the question becomes, should I hold this? It might be rarer next year. Bitcoin rewards saving, long-term thinking, patience. That is why many call it digital gold. Gold is scarce, durable, hard to fake, trusted for thousands of years. Bitcoin is the same, but with one advantage. You can carry gold across borders. But try carrying $10 million worth of gold. With Bitcoin, where is your money? Right here. Where? In my head, 12 words. Bitcoin moves in minutes. No banks, no permission. No explanations. That is when big players paid attention. Michael Saylor borrowed billions to buy Bitcoin. Cathie Wood said even small institutional allocation could push it to $1 million per coin. Jack Dorsey believes it could become the native currency of the internet. Countries followed. In 2021, El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender. People saved 10 to 20% on remittance fees. Transfers became nearly instant, nearly free. They even announced plans for a Bitcoin city powered by volcanic energy. It sounds insane, but it is real. In Nigeria, Bitcoin bypasses censorship. In Argentina, it protects against runaway inflation. In Ukraine and Afghanistan, it became a financial lifeline during crisis. Over 300 million people worldwide now use crypto, most of it Bitcoin. Institutions joined too. Fidelity, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, Tesla, and yet, for every believer, a billionaire says, it is worthless, no cash flow, no dividends. It produces nothing. They are not wrong. Bitcoin does not farm. It does not rent. It does not pay interest. Simply exists. That is unacceptable to traditional investors. They measure it with old-world tools. Bitcoin is not trying to be a company. It is trying to be an asset. Then come the fears. What if Satoshi returns? What if he sells? He has no special power. Bitcoin is open source. Consensus rules everything. Quantum computers, not ready, and Bitcoin is already preparing. Government bans, tried, failed. China banned mining. Miners moved. Bitcoin survived. Better technology? Faster coins. Bitcoin is not racing. It is built to last. Slow by design. Simple by design. Secure by design. Like gold, but younger, born for the internet. Bitcoin's real superpower is not speed, not perfection. It is survival. Crisis after crisis, ban after ban. Bitcoin remains. Maybe that is the whole point. If this video helped you understand Bitcoin, not as a gamble, but as a financial revolution, hit like so the algorithm knows this is worth watching. Subscribe if you want stories about money, power, and technology, explained clearly, honestly, and without nonsense. Thank you for watching.